After Mairi Harper's young son Ross died, she says her world fell apart as she struggled to find support to help her through her grief. 8 years on, Mairi's rebuilt her life and just graduated with first-class degree in psychology. Now the mum from Larbert is using her experience and studies to help other bereaved parents come to terms with their loss. She's been telling her story to Scotland Today.
Ross was a fabulous wee boy. He lit up the room every time he came into the room. Everybody loved him. We'd been away on a skiing holiday, and the day after we came back, Ross started to come down with a heavy cold. On Saturday night I put him to bed, but this time something went really badly wrong in the middle of the night and he died in his sleep. I've never heard of a happy, healthy child being killed by something as commonplace as a flu virus, but that's what happened this time. The impact of it was just horrendous. The world completely fell apart. My daughter Heather at that time was 7, and she'd lost her best friend. Her and Ross did everything together, and he was her whole life as well as mine and Alan's. My way of coping was to go back to work as quickly as possible. 13 months after Peter was born, Claire came along, and with both Peter and Claire, I worked the day I went into hospital and worked the day I came out, trying to help the business to stay afloat. My brother was involved in a climbing accident in Ben Nevis. I'd been involved with a support group for bereaved parents, but I didn't appreciate that I would have to use those skills to help my own parents with the loss of their son, as well as trying to recover from the loss of my own. It became obvious that trying to run a business as well as everything else was really just not feasible. I'd never been involved in academia, I'd never done anything academic, but I quite fancied doing a degree, and psychology seemed interesting and made me think, well, how does bereavement affect people? What does the scientific literature show? When I looked into it, I found there was very, very little work done in that area. And I thought, well, maybe I could use this degree for something to help other people who've been through the same experience as me. I applied for the Carnegie Scholarship and couldn't believe my luck when I won it. And now I'm going to be able to do 3 years' work and hopefully provide some information that's going to help other bereaved parents to carry on their journey. In the early days, I really don't know if anything can help you with the grief that you're experiencing then. But as life goes on, I think there are things that people could be doing that would help them to come to terms with their grief and rebuild their lives. I've seen people who have walked a path before me making good, successful lives, happy lives for themselves. One of the poignant things that a parent has to deal with is when it's the child's birthday, for example. Another bereaved parent suggested that perhaps we could let off a helium balloon and tie a message to it for Ross. It was Ross's birthday just last week, and on the messages that we tied, Heather wrote in hers that she hopes Ross is as proud of me as she is.
Mairi Harper speaking there. OK, time now for tonight's sport, and we cross now to Raman, who's in Carnoustie for the golf. Raman.
Hi Heather, evening once again folks from Carnoustie on day 1 of the Open Golf Championship, but the conditions are absolutely ideal at the moment. But I tell you, first thing this morning they were anything but when the rain was coming down at a fair old pace. Let's bring you up to speed in terms of the leaderboard. Spaniard Sergio Garcia, he's out in front, he's on 5 under par through 13. Ominously for the field, Tiger Woods is very much up there, but as Stephen Gordon now reports, it's been a disappointing day for our Scottish boys.
As a local boy returning to the scene of his greatest triumph, Paul Lawrie was guaranteed a warm welcome by the Scottish crowd, but the sound which followed his opening shot wasn't nearly as pleasant.
Oh, you don't want to hear those cries early in the morning.
Some first tee nerves for the former Open champion, the result of months of hype about his return to Carnoustie.
I didn't feel my best on the first tee, I would be honest enough to say. It's a difficult moment, but you just got to stand up there and hit a shot. And they hit a nice second shot in there, a chance for birdie. So you just kind of control these situations and get on with it. But it was nice once the tee shot was gone.
Lawrie had the daunting